question though for you. Because you've been on a lot of dates.
I've been on a lot of dates.
Really?
I know I really have. It's crazy.
All right. So
Wait, so just take a cute picture. Like, let's do a cheers or something.
all right. How do I know when it's? Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
But date number one, since women assume a lot, what are some
Oh,
things?
men assume a lot too. Let's,
We do assume a lot. There's no doubt. I agree. Okay.
But men might skip over a lot of assumptions in the thought of, can I fuck her or not?
Okay, that's agreed.
I mean,
that's agreed.
Okay.
And also, yeah. So we may assume something, but we're like, okay, let me date her a few more dates. Women were like, oh, and then they see a lifetime of whatever. This is my own. So, what are some mistakes a guy? Because again, the first kiss, right? The first kiss is so important to women. Where guys, it's important. But man, it really, if it's not a great kiss, we're still like, yeah, that's...
We're still like, oh, will she fuck us?
Yes.
I mean, let's just be honest.
That's right.
Okay, let's just...
And we don't think a bad first kiss means she's going to be bad in bed.
Really?
Oh, definitely not. First of all, guys, okay, so I just said this to my friend last night. As far as guys go, we always have great sex. Why? Because we always reach orgasm. It's very rare that we do.
Yeah, and you think you're good.
That's right. Well, because we had a great time.
Because you reach orgasm.
That's right.
Right.
Well, I had a great time. I'm sure you did too. So, on a first date, what are some things a guy should never do on a first date? That women are like, oh my God. Turn women off, or we'll talk about the good things, but what are some mistakes you've seen guys do on a first date?
Flirting with the server.
What? Guys will do that on the first date?
Yes. And I think that they're thinking it's showing how cool they are and how other people want them.
Wow.
But no. It doesn't.
Okay.
No. And I'm always nice to people. I mean, right, I think it's very important to be respectful and to appreciate service. So I'm not saying don't thank them, don't make eye contact. I'm just like, when they're bantering back, when the conversation is more between them and the server, and the other is left out, bad. And that happens all the time. All the time.
What? Really?
I swear. Yeah. They'll think, oh, they're talking about the wine and they're trying to show off how much they know about wines or something. It's,
right.
No. What we're noticing is we're left out and your focus is on somebody else.
Wow. I wonder if guys think that's a confidence thing. Like, hey, I'm talking to another woman. It's all about who the hell. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Right. They're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm looking important. Look how much I know. They're being so nice to me. She's going to want me more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we're thinking you're an asshole. Yeah. And the other thing is, men only talking about themselves.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you been on dates where guys don't really ask? Because to me, the conversation, when she's talking, the conversation's much easier. To me. Because there's no pressure on, first of all, she's not listening to what I'm saying. I'm listening to what she's saying. It's so much easier. That's yours or is that mine?
That's yours.
Okay, who cares? Sorry about that. That was a text.
It's okay. Mine is right there. I'm like, wait, where is mine? Right. Okay. So
guys.
So I think what happens is people get nervous and we want to impress somebody. So how do we impress them? We just start talking and we try to tell them everything. And God knows, right? Yeah, I think I do this too. I will get excited. And if I ask a question, because I usually am pretty good about asking questions, but if somebody doesn't keep going, then I'll start talking again.
Yeah,
and that's hard. So you have to really keep going. And in men's defense, I think sometimes when men are communicating, just a group of men, well, you'll see this if you're at a table with men and women. Men will dominate a conversation. I don't think they actually mean to, but I think it's because men do this. If you want to say something, speak up, right? I don't need to stop talking and give you the mic and say, here, Rob, would you like to say something? You've been so quiet. Let me, But women, we do. If a group of women is sitting around,
you're right about that. I get it.
Right, we stop and say, oh, wait, and we pass the microphone to somebody. We're like, oh, sorry, I'm talking too much. You've listened to all my stuff here.
That's a good point. That's a very good
point. Men
don't
do that. And so in a group with men and women are still sitting there waiting for somebody to hand us the mic. Except me, because I just jump in. But I will be like the only woman at the table who's really participating in a conversation because of that. And men will just talk and think that somebody's going to speak up.
That's a good point. That is true.
I think I might share that trait sometimes too. So I get it, but you just have to be more aware and recognize. Sorry, I'm fidgeting.
That's
but
right. All right, so
pass the baton.
What about what men do on a date that is really a nice thing? Again, we're talking about besides the pull out the chair or I'll give you one thing that I learned from an ex-girlfriend. We'd walk in a restaurant and the services follow me. I would always just follow the server. I say always. It was probably 2 dates. And on the third date, she said, Rob, why don't you let me walk in front of you? And I never thought of that. Never thought that she was following me. I'm just thinking we're walking in a restaurant. So ever since then, I always let the woman go.
So I think it's not that she's following you. I think it's that you're not paying attention to her.
By walking in front?
Yeah.
See, this is the problem.
Yes.
See, women, that's what I'm saying, they put, again, no offense, they put so much stuff on something that means nothing to a guy. We're just walking. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but we want to walk together. And if you're just walking and not checking on us, now it's different if you walk and you grab our hand.
Okay.
Okay, that's okay. But otherwise, but here's the thing. If you let her go in front of you, it's a perfect opportunity to touch her. Like, why would you waste that? If you're into her, it's the perfect opportunity to put your hand not on her ass, right, but on her lower back in a perfectly appropriate, reasonable place and just nicely to do.
Okay.
And that can feel good. And it's like, I'm taking care, right? I know you. I'm making sure I'm taking care of us. Instead of just, I'm taking care of me and, oh, are you, yeah. Wait, you get to the table and you look around and go, oh, no, she's still way back there. That doesn't feel good.
Okay, so I get it. All right, so now you're going to go out on a date to a restaurant. The guy usually picks, right, or he suggests, right? But a good guy, I think, would say, well, Beth, you like, and you don't like, what do you like? What do you like?
I eat sushi or something.
Okay, so Beth, you like sushi. There's a great place for sushi. Is that kind of I hate to use the word turn on, but you're telling the woman that you heard what she said on the phone call, right? And hey, I got a place that you may like. Because of this. Okay. Okay,
because I think a really bad thing is if you've asked me out. So this comes to who's going to pay.
Well, the guy, okay, let's assume the guy's going to pay the first time because he's asking her out.
Right, if he's asked her out. Okay. And that's the thing. So I always think it's important that these lines should be clear. And I think that way it's not a question. We don't have to say it's gender. It's based on etiquette. If you invite somebody out, then you should be willing to pick up the check. I think that is a reasonable thing.
That's reasonable, but okay. I got to jump in. If the guy's a gentleman, you ask me out, that's great. But when the bill comes, he's going to take it. I just think it's...
Okay, well, maybe, but she shouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
And she should be ready. I think she should be ready to pick it up.
Okay.
So to me, whoever is asking should then decide, because they're going to pay the bill, I think, they should decide where.
Whoever's asking.
Whoever's asking. Because what I find very uncomfortable is if you ask me out and say Saturday night, and then you say, where would you like to go?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? And I don't want to presume. I don't know your budget. I'm not trying to just take advantage or something, and it feels not very good. But on the other hand, if you say, okay, how about this? Or you give 2 suggestions, I'm happy to pick them.
Or do you like this? Hey, do you like seafood? Do you like me? Yeah, okay, great. I have a great place that you may like.
Right.
Okay.
And even if you don't know the town, because this happens, sometimes people are new to that area, part of town or whatever, something, look it up. Because, push comes to shove, my solution is I will offer a cheap place, a medium place, and a decent place. I will do that, but it doesn't feel good to me. I don't like it.
Okay.
And I don't think it's really polite. If you want to make it fun, then you should look up and you can say, I don't know that area, but I found these couple of places. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right. And then they have some idea of what you're looking. And if they say, oh, this, you might think about this because it's also within that range. Right. That's easier.
All right. So I got to ask you this because we're doing our first dates, and this happened to me. I'm talking to a couple of women, first dates, and this is absolutely true. And they said they hate when a guy suggests a first date as meeting for coffee or meeting for a drink. If you're going to go out with me, this is the woman, let's go out for dinner. And my point is, you have no idea if you really click, and a dinner's a long time.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I think that's entitlement, and I don't think that's cool.
Okay.
I think if you're going to complain about that, that's silly. You have to recognize that we don't know, right? We have no idea if we're being catfished or anything.
Yeah.
And we don't know how much time we want to devote. And so if somebody can't be, if you do it in a reasonable way, I don't think that's any big deal.
Okay.
But I will tell you, what is uncomfortable is when you go to just a counter place, and then, like, if I get there first, am I just supposed to order for myself? Am I supposed to text you? What happens? And then when you want something, you're constantly having to interrupt and to get up and whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, even if you're going to go for a coffee, like finding a place where, I mean, I use Denny's or, an IHOP. There are lots of places you can go for an inexpensive coffee and be quick, but people are going to serve you.
Yes. Okay.
I do kind of think that's easier than Starbucks. Or if it's going to be like a coffee shop, then pick a place where, and ask them beforehand, what would you like? And I'll get it for you.
Okay.
And get there early and have it ready and be seated and get waters also. But yeah.
Okay.
Dinners at a counter place, I think, is a bad.
Yeah,
that's a bad call.
Actually, I've never done that in my life. I've never actually sat at the counter.
Well, no, but I mean at a counter service place. So like Beck's Prime or Cafe Express or something where you have to get it at the. Because again, you're just interrupting your meal to go get shit. And that's awkward.
I agree.
So I think sit down or get something to go and eat it someplace else. I don't know. But yeah, so where you go. But then pick up the thing and pick up the check, I think. But yeah, you shouldn't have to pay a fortune. If somebody's like, no, I only want to go out with you. And I've heard this from men. Like, they're women and they'll be like, oh, only if we're going like to this place or that. I'm like, that's not probably the woman you want to go out with.
No, definitely not. First of all, again, it's a long, I've been on, you go on a long date, that to me there's nothing worse than being on a long date. Really. If it's just a
if it feels too long.
If it feels,
yes, if it is fun.
But if you're having a drink and it's turning out great, you could say, hey, are you hungry? Let's get it. Yeah.
Yes, right. Okay, so here's the other thing though. I actually think if you're doing something after work or in the evening, some people just like to drink. I need to eat. And most women, put it this way, you can't lose if you offer to get an appetizer.
Oh, that's true.
Okay? And I have been out where they won't even offer. They won't think about it for whatever reason. And I'm starving. And then really, I just want to finish the date so I can go eat someplace. And I don't like that. Or they'll say, I'm not hungry, but you can order something.
No, that's stupid.
Then I feel bad.
Yeah, that's right. That's hard.
So much better to say, hey, are you hungry? How about we get a couple of things and we can share? Or you get something, even if you take it to go, whatever. But I do think that if it's after work, whatever, or if you're there for more than 45 minutes, you should offer to get some food, even if it's cheap food, I think. Because, I've definitely... But I like to eat. I like eating more than I like drinking. Yeah.
But that's my weird thing. That's another thing. I'm going out with a girl for the first time. I actually feel funny eating. Because, you're eating and sometimes whatever. Sipping a drink is very simple. Eating, you never know. Is there something? But it's a little more nerve-wracking. And I'm an easygoing guy, but it's a little more nerve-wracking for me.
Okay. That's so funny. No. I think eating... I just like to eat, and it gives me something because I fidget so much anyway. It gives me something to fidget with, and maybe I have food. And I'm not neat, so you know this. I don't know, but this is part of who I am. So no, it doesn't faze me.
Okay.
I guess biting into something really like big and ugly.
So there's rule number one. When I do go on, how many times am I on a date?
See, you think about this more. I'm just like, I'm hungry. What do I want to eat?
Even when I'm doing like a networking thing, if there's women at my table, really, I definitely order food that is not a hand food. Like I won't order a burger most times. I'm gonna order something where I can just do a fork because I have controlled portions of my little fork. A burger, you do this, and the pickles.
I've never thought. Okay, but this is interesting. So I've never thought of it, except that. Do you know, women, like, when men are attracted to a woman, you know what they look at most? It's her mouth. And so if a woman wants to attract a guy and stuff, drawing attention to your mouth, it's just a subconscious sort of turn on, right? And for, as soon as I do that, men go, whoop,
Wow.
Yeah. And so just even, wiping, doing that, little things, total turn on. So maybe that's part of it. So
that's another part of this video, which is kind of cool. So how do you flirt with a guy?
Yeah.
Without actually he even realizing you're flirting?
Yeah. And so picking something like that, yeah, right. That can be so erotic and subconsciously, yeah. So if men are looking at your mouth, it's going to get them more aroused. that's biologically programmed.
Wow. But guys, I think are pretty easy to get aroused. What is it something that you can do as a guy to turn on a girl that you're on a date with?
If there's a problem with her meal or something, or if she needs drink, or if she needs a water refill, or she needs an extra napkin, noticing that and politely asking for that, very nice.
Okay, so it's the attention thing. It really, yes.
It's being taken care of, right? It's somebody wanting to take care of us, not in a patronizing, you can't do this way,
right.
but in a concerned, gentlemanly, chivalrously, and I know those are old-fashioned terms, and I'm a very modern woman, but still, we want somebody who's going to notice and pay attention and help take care of us without waiting for us to beg or to ask.
Notice. Okay.
And so I think that helping somebody else, right? If there's somebody that, we're sitting at the bar and somebody trips next to us and you just ignore them.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that, right? I don't want you flirting with them or the bar, bartender or service,
right.
But going, oh, wait a minute, excuse me to me, and then let me help you. Can I help you? And helping pick something up. Oh, being a superhero in little ways like that to somebody else, that we're going to find very attractive.
So isn't that cool? So it's so funny. You say that's what women find attractive, but women could do much simpler things. Like, again, the mouth thing. It has nothing to do with being a good person or anything else. Just do this, and the guy's like, wow, I think she's my wife.
Well, or I just want to kiss that mouth.
Exactly.
There's some biological, right? But so I don't know. Well, so what can women do to impress you?
So women could do very simple things. You could just touch the guys as you're talking. Just touch his shoulder, touch his arm. That is for guys. That's a huge turn on. Okay,
so anytime if you're with somebody and they touch you, either gender, yes, that means they're.
Okay.
Yes, in a very when it's coming from men to women, but so a hand on the back or the shoulder or something, yes, it can be very a good way to initiate physical contact in a non-threatening sort of overt way.
Yeah.
But generally, you can tell if somebody is leaning towards you in the conversation. And in fact, one time, God, I can't even remember where I was, but we were talking. I was on a date, and for some reason, like at my back, and I just leaned back, and the person called me on it and said, "Wait, what did I say? You just totally pulled away from me." And I laughed, but I appreciated that they noticed, and they had the confidence to bring it up, and not to be mad at me, but to think what they said that might have upset me, right? They were doing a mental rewind, like, oh shit. And I was like, no, you didn't. There really wasn't. I just needed, but it was so funny. I was like, let me pull my chair closer. And so it worked, right? But that's when you're not just afraid and self-defensive and whatever, then it makes everything easier.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So telling a woman that she's got food in her teeth or something.
No, how do you?
You have to do it nicely. But you do, because you don't want her afterwards to think, oh my God, I was like that the whole time, and he just was repulsed by me. You say, sweetheart, you're still beautiful, and I love your smile, but I thought you would probably want to know. You just have a little something right there, and then we're embarrassed, but we're only embarrassed for a little minute.
Okay.
But we also trust. Again, because if I'm walking around with toilet paper sticking out of my skirt and you don't tell me, I am not thrilled.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, so much better that somebody cares enough and is confident enough and reassures me to give me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, and I fix it, and then it's done, right? Yeah. And then it becomes this nice memory that we share.
And if you do compliment to be and saying, listen, you still be, I can see that. Yeah, you still be, yeah, okay.
Yes, as opposed to you're just staring and going, shit, what do I say? And like, oh, I'm doing this, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm missing it, and it's just, no.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Is there like a text etiquette nowadays? Like I had a great date with a girl last night. This morning, do I send her a message? I know Robbie would do. I would send her a message.
You should. Okay, so again, if we go with the idea, if you want something to happen, it's up to you. Playing coy and turtle is not going to get what you want, really.
That's good, okay.
So go with your gut, which is one, I think generally it's really nice to send a thank you both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, but certainly the one who didn't pay should send a thank you.
Yeah.
And then the other person can respond, But if you want further interactions, follow up. You can follow up that evening and say, like I did, I told you last night, like I just went, I was like, oh, I smiled all the way home. And I sent that text. Thank you. I smiled all the way home. This was really unexpected. Right?
And that's great.
And then everybody wins, right? It's
Yes.
because even if you don't want to date them, and God knows I've been on a lot of dates where obviously things haven't worked out because I'm not partnered, but they haven't worked out. But they're still really interesting, nice people. And they should know that it wasn't a waste of time. It's interesting. It's fun. We got to know each other, and that should be the goal. And so you should be courteous and respectful and appreciative.
Okay. Very cool.
And then you can say, yes, I'd like to do it again. Or you can say, it was really fun. I don't really think we're a romantic match, but really you are cool, and I'm so glad to know you. I think that is a perfectly appropriate, respectful, easy way so that nobody's left questioning or doubting, and you're not dancing around stupid shit.
It hurts for a second, but at least you know, because the worst is on the unknown.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so Beth, let's close it out with this, if you don't mind. So, since guys and women definitely think differently, right? You agree with that?
Yes.
We see things differently.
Yes. We're different, right? Biologically, we're different. We've been raised differently.
Yes.
I think it's not that we're not both valuable. Men and women are both equally valuable, equally resourceful, equally talented, and should have the exact same opportunities. So it's not about one better or worse. It's just, but we are different.
We are different. So, because I'd love to do a topic that people are, what's the next topic that we do? What's the next set of topics that we do? Tonight I talked a lot about first dates, because that to me there's so many misunderstandings about a first date.
And maybe you'll go on a first date sometime soon?
Yeah, maybe I will. Let's put that on YouTube, how I haven't been on a date in a while. By choice. It's not like I've been trying.
I know. You haven't been trying. You haven't wanted. I'm like, come on, Rob. Come on. I'll help you with your profile. Come on, Rob. Come on, Rob. Yes. Sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. I do the editing, so I may cut that on.
No, don't cut that. No.
All right, so the next topic. What's going to be the next topic?
Shit, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing in 10 minutes from now.
Okay.
It's going to be something. Basically, we're going to talk about the differences between men and women. Shit, we don't even realize, right? Until we start talking, we don't realize there's a difference of opinion or a different perspective, because it's like being colorblind, right? If I'm not colorblind, I'm seeing all these colors. Somebody else is colorblind. They're not seeing the same thing I'm seeing.
That's a good point.
So we don't know. And so how about this? Let's just agree. We're going to keep talking. But if you have any ideas for us or questions or funny experiences, God, we love stories. Send us those. Share it.
Or why did he do this, or why didn't she do that? Because that's the biggest thing. Again, talking to my friends, both on guys and girls who are dating, they don't, and me too, I've been there.
Well, hell, forget dating. Your friends can't believe that you and I are strictly friends.
That's right. And they actually don't believe it.
Right. Every time, and I love it, so I totally tease it, but every time he says we're going to hang out or something, they're like, oh, she's into you or something. And
that's right.
Right. So that's what we'll do. Next time we're going to talk about how we clarified that, because you and I are totally comfortable.
Okay, we clarified it, but I honestly think it's very hard to do. I will say that. I'm dead serious. But
it was so easy anyway, that's where we'll start next time.
All right, sounds
good. There we go. Cheers to the differences. Let's celebrate the frickin' differences, because I'm glad to have you, and it's nice to hear your perspective, Rob.
All right, wonderful. Had a great time.
Cheers.